Good afternoon, fellas. This is Kenneth Farrell, president of the UFPA, United Football Players Association. Wanted to come on here before the holidays get ramped up and drop this video so everybody can come to this page and get information for themselves directly from us. There's been a lot of things floating around on the internet, a lot of text messages going out from USW to guys talking about what this process is going to look like moving forward with this merger, with half of the guys not represented, half of the guys represented. A couple of days ago, we put out a statement saying that we were ending our partnership with the steelworkers and that we would be moving towards an independent route because we felt like that was the best for us as players to be able to have control of our own association. We feel like all of our members on our team have been through CBAs. They've been through all the things that we need as football players to know that we can go to the table and get what is needed. So in response to that statement, the USFLPA dropped a statement, and they said that we've never been affiliated with the USFLPA. They said that our statement was false. They said that our only task was uniting unions, and we were putting out misleading information. So we're not going to go back and forth on Twitter, on Instagram, dropping statements. We're coming to you right now direct. This is straight from our mouth, and hopefully clear things up for guys on how we've gotten to this point. So a couple things on the agenda that we're going to go over real quick. I'll try to make this quick. We're going to go over the partnership between us and the USW, our involvement with the USFLPA, and what it's going to look like moving forward if the UFPA is indeed going to represent guys. So we'll get started with the creation of the UFPA. In 2020, myself and Nick Temple created the UFPA, a nonprofit organization, just so we could have an entity, just so we could have an entity to communicate with guys. Guys would know that they could reach out to us with help. And throughout that process, we were able to open up bankruptcy cases. We were able to extend deadlines from the two fallen leagues of the AF and XFL 2.0. So we were at that for a while. We were at that for about 2 years, helping guys out, calling out fraudulent tryouts and a number of things. Everything's on the internet. You can go and see. In 2022, the XFL was supposed to come out, and they pushed back to 2023, but the USFL came out, and they came out pretty quickly with only about 4 months till the season when they had made that initial announcement. We knew that right away we were going to need some representation in this league. There had been some pretty bad things floating around about one of the executive officers of the USFL and Brian Woods from the Spring League, and we knew that we were going to need some protections in place. So at that time, because of the work we did, we were able to sit down with a few different unions, have some interviews about, how we could get help going about the unionization process to have a players union in place. The steelworkers came in, and they were the only ones willing to help immediately with that process, and that's why we decided to go with the steelworkers. Now, in Birmingham in 2022, myself, Nick Temple, Ryan Cave, all the guys from the USFL, y'all know we were in the lobby at the hotel. We were getting authorization cards signed. We were going through the process to get an election up in that year to be able to have a players union up off the ground by the following season. We knew that's something that absolutely had to be done. So throughout that process, us partnering with the steelworkers, we were under the impression that we would eventually get to a point where the Players Association would be ran by the players, and it would be player-led and player-driven. Now, we go through the authorization card process. Guys are signing authorization cards. And on the authorization cards, we had fought to have UFPA on the authorization cards because we felt that if guys were going to be represented by the UFPA, our name needed to be on there. Slowly, they came back to us, and the legal team from the Steelworkers said our name could not be on there because we could not represent guys, because we would not be a part of the bargaining, but we would still be somewhat involved in the process moving forward. At that time, the most important thing was getting the union off the ground and making sure players had a voice. So we were okay with that. That was something that we would revisit at a later time. After the election was up and the election was won in 2022 in Birmingham, we were completely ousted from the bargaining table. We have not been there. So the statement from the USFLPA about that was true, but it's true because the United Steelworkers kicked us out of the situation. We were no longer be able to go about posting or doing anything saying that we were the union for for the USFL because the steelworkers had made very clear that legally we were not able to do that. That was something that we didn't know at the beginning of the partnership, and probably a mistake on our end at that time. So as the year passes, the guys are able to vote in players as president and vice president for the USFLPA. Those guys had help of Ryan Cave, one of our board members who had worked through several different CBAs in the arena leagues throughout the 2010s by himself, being able to get a lot of gains for the arena leagues. So as far as the people that we needed on board that we felt to make the changes we had, but legally we cannot all be on staff to be able to continue to represent guys. So the XFL comes up. We figure that the USFL Players Association is up and running. Those guys have been elected. We were kicked out of the equation, so we couldn't really help at that time. But we had Ryan Cave there to walk D'Artez, walk Devin Garay through some of the things that they would be going through. So we felt everything would be good. Now, the USFLPA has been rebranded as the USFLPA. It is truly a local of the steelworkers. That union is not a players association, it's not an association of players. They're still represented by steelworkers who have never had anything to do with the sports world. So moving forward, the XFL, we go out throughout the same process and thoughts that after the XFL was unionized, we would be able to begin the rebranding process and be able to truly be at the helm of bargaining, of negotiating, and things like that moving forward. The XFL voted down the steelworkers in the election because of the process that we were eliminated from being able to help the USFLPA guys. It was a rocky start for those guys over there because they did not have the communication down. They did not have the ins and outs of how to go about that, and we were forced out of the picture. So moving forward, what we have now is the USFL Players Association are saying that they're the ones that started it and we have had nothing to do with it. If the UFPA was not on the ground in Birmingham, if we were not there, there would never had been an election to have a players union in the first place. So let's be very clear about that we put in the work, we got the union up, and then we were kicked out of the equation from the steelworkers because legally, since everybody signed authorization cards that had USW on it, that's who was going to represent y'all. Now, with this merger happening, XFL guys, y'all are not represented by a union right now. USFL guys, you are represented by a union. Now, the fact that 50% of the guys are about to lose their jobs shows what kind of union and what kind of fight they put up to be able to protect the players they're supposed to be protecting. I don't think that would have happened if guys understood the power that they really had and they understood just the ins and out of what kind of situation that we were facing. Guys like Ryan Cave, guys that are on our board, know these situations. They've been through these situations. And the fact that us as players were kicked out of being able to have anything to do with negotiations from the steelworkers shows that the self-serving has definitely come from USW wanting to be a part of the sports world and not letting us as independent players have a true union. That was a mistake on our end from the beginning by not having the knowledge to set up our own. Now we do have the knowledge to set up our own, but we're in crunch time. So following this week, following the holidays, we invite everybody. We will be sending out Zoom meetings to XFL guys. We will have to go through the authorization process to get the UFPA authorized to represent y'all moving forward. Now, I don't know what will happen with the USFLPA guys if we get to a point and those guys see that the United Football Players Association is truly football players. We have the knowledge and the people on board to best represent them. They would have to go through a decertification process. That's something that is probably further down the road, and it's not our top priority right now. Our top priority is being able to say if the XFL guys want to be led by true football players that have true knowledge and a true grasp on how to go about collective bargaining for football players, then we will be ready to set up as an organization and move forward with representing you guys. The authorization cards that are going out to you right now are from the steelworkers, and y'all will be placed in the same boat as the USFLPA guys. The severance packages that are being talked about will not go to XFL players because y'all are not represented. So wanted to clear those things up. I thought it was very important We saw that we weren't affiliated with the USFLPA, and that statement is about as false as you can get. There would be no USFLPA if the UFPA had not put in the work that we put in the last 3 years. We did get help from the steelworkers, but our help and our movement has been somewhat hijacked and taken away from us. So we as football players have set up the UFPA. We've been working with guys for the last 3 years, and if we want to continue to move forward and be ran by football players that know what we need best, then we will be going about the authorization process moving forward. So next week, we'll be sending out Zooms, we'll be sending out emails moving forward to get guys on board so we can have some face-to-face meetings. Until then, we're going to leave this video up. We won't be taking this video down, and this is how we're going to have to do things. And one more thing, you can scroll down on this Instagram and you can see that we were the face of the campaign for the USFLPA to get up off the ground. You can look at the dates. We were putting videos up on things that we wanted done in collective bargaining, and then as soon as the election was up, we were kicked out, and the posting had to stop because we were not the bargaining representative agent for them anymore. So just wanted to put this guy out here for you guys to kind of sit on, to share, to talk to your teammates about. The guys that we've played with, the guys that we've been on teams with, y'all know who we are. Please share the information with guys, and we look forward to seeing everybody next week on Zoom meetings so y'all can meet who will be potentially being able to represent you guys moving forward. Hope everybody has a happy holidays, enjoys time with the family, and we'll definitely be talking soon. Thank you guys.